The University of the Cumberlands coming off one of their best seasons in school history. Matt Daniel's loading up, and the Patriots are ready to go again. We have Matt Daniel talking Patriot basketball. Cascade Hoops Talk starts right now. When we were down in Kansas City last year, we were able to sit down with Matt Daniel. He's the head coach over there, the University of Cumberlands. You know, it was only a 15-minute interview. It's hard to do in the lobby of the hotel. There's people around. It's even hard to find a place. So we wanted to do a little bit more of an in-depth interview with him, talk Patriot basketball. He graduates Jonathan Brown. He's first-team All-American. And then, of course, J.J. Ramey graduated as well. So he's got a little bit of a rebuild to do. But you listen to the show, it sounds like they're ready to go. Of course, they know they're going to miss those two guys, but they got quite a few seniors, and they got some underclassmen that are ready to go to work. It sounds like the Patriots should be competitive again this season. So the University of the Cumberlands and Cumberland University, they both play in the same conference. So this is the University of the Cumberlands, and the other one is Cumberland University. I know it's confusing. Could you imagine being a radio announcer in that conference? But try to keep them straight. So Matt Daniel is the head men's basketball coach, the University of the Cumberlands, and they are the Patriots. Let's listen to Coach Matt Daniel. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. Hey, today we have Matt Daniel. He's the head men's basketball coach at the University of the Cumberlands. They are the Patriots. Down there in Williamsburg, Kentucky. Morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, Billy. How are you?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you taking the time. I know it's a busy time for you. You know, I met you guys you and Kyle down in Kansas City. I guess for you it's almost up or over in Kansas City. But I was able to meet Kyle Busch, and it was apparent that he was a pretty big piece of your operation there. And I saw in the off season that he was actually promoted to associate head coach. Talk about what Kyle means to your program, but how valuable it is to have a guy like him.
Yeah, he really to see him get the promotion this summer and just a culmination of all the work that he's put in, all the sweat and again the work that he's done to help our program get to the level it's at here recently is just it's a testament to who he is as a worker and who he is as a person. You know, his fingerprints are all over our program, and to see him be rewarded for the great work that he's done has been really gratifying as a coworker, but also as a friend. And you know, he just the opportunity to have worked with him over the past couple of years has been great. He's been instrumental to our program in recruiting, but also just in everything, in the basketball and the planning and the operations side. He's a man that wears many hats and does everything really, really well.
He's the prototypical right-hand man. He has a lot of energy.
Absolutely.
I want to shift gears a little bit before we talk basketball. The University of Cumberlands did something a little different. You know, in this day and age, you can't turn on the TV without somebody griping about the cost of education. And Cumberlands did something pretty revolutionary, and you significantly reduced the cost of education there. And you have, from my understanding, you can correct me, but these are just from reports I read, you have your largest freshman class ever, but you have the most undergraduate students you've ever had on campus. It's got to be a pretty exciting time there.
It really is. Our school is, it's continued to grow, and, all of the credits for our growth and for, us prospering as a university goes to our administration, specifically to our president, Dr. Cockrum, who, really, however long ago he took over, a decade ago plus now, kind of saw the future a little bit in how education was going. And, he's made a lot of really, really good moves and the university in a really good spot financially. And because of that, he puts a lot of that back into the undergrad experience and into making education affordable for people in our area and anybody that comes to our university. So all the credit goes to him. But, the increase in population on campus, the increase in just excitement around all of our athletic programs because of the success that we've had really across the board in athletics, winning the Learfield last year, as a department, it's just been really, really cool. Just the energy and excitement since students got here in the fall has just been awesome to see. And again, a place that's so special to me, having been a graduate of here and seeing the university in different phases. It's just exciting to see it in this current phase, and excited to see what's next for it.
Just so people know what I'm talking about, education there. A young person can go there, and what I understand, it's a guaranteed rate when you get there. It's less than $20,000 a year, all in.
19,175 is the cost, tuition, room, books, board, the whole thing, 19,175. And then, just recently they've announced different things. We have what's called the Cumberlands commitment, which is just something that again even reduces that price even further.
Wow.
Just with money that's been raised for our university, and again I don't know if I'm educated enough on all the ins and outs of that whole process, but needless to say, education at University of Cumberland is very affordable, and what is provided here has just been top tier, and we're just really proud of who we are and what we've become and what we're going to be.
Yeah, I sorry to get sidetracked on that, but education is it's a big deal for me to see young people become educated and be able to. It's kind of the key to the future for young people, and to see the university, take the steps to include more people and make it affordable, I think deserves a pat on the back. That's why I wanted to go in that direction. So let's talk. You want to talk some basketball?
Of course, anytime.
Last season, you're going into your fourth year. You've been that's right, your fourth season, right?
Yes, sir.
Last season, I should have it in front of me. I think you won 27 games, something like that.
Ended up 20. Yeah, last year we were 20, ended up 28-5.
28, okay, 28. That.
Yes, sir.
And you got those two big wins. You and I talked about Kansas City, what an honor it was to be able to host those first two rounds there in the nice facility there. But you were able to host those first two rounds, got to Kansas City. Your guys got that opportunity to be there. I think that's so important. You felt a morning.
We do too.
Yeah. We'll talk about what that, before we talk about, go on, we'll talk about what that means for you to be able to get your guys to Kansas City and let them play on the big stage there.
Well, before the split, before it went to, the one division and the new format of having to win your way out there, we had been to a bunch of national tournaments. When it was Division I, we had been to a bunch of national tournaments out in Kansas City, and really had a run there. Coach Butcher's last, I want to say his last, 8 or 9 years we were out there consecutively. So it'd been a little bit since the merger, and Coach Butcher's last year we got beat down in Alexandria before we could make it to Kansas City. Then my first season we got beat up at Olivet by Grace when Olivet hosted a couple of years back, and then 2 years ago we didn't even make the field, didn't make the tournament. So it had been a while since we had gotten to be back out there at Kansas City and get to experience it again, for our guys to experience it. I think was really important to see it, to be a part of it, just to get again the experience of it all. Hopefully, made them want to work and get to stay out there longer than just one game. Nobody does it better than the NAI when it comes to the national tournament, and Kansas City and Municipal Auditorium, just an awesome place. And again, just grateful our guys got the opportunity to do it, and hope we get to do it for years to come.
Yeah, I think the more often a program gets to the national tournament and moves forward in the national tournament, the guys they're not so starstruck when they get to it. Because as you know, when you get into conference play, the game changes, or conference tournament, the game changes. And then when you get into the national tournament, the game completely changes. And you can see teams that aren't used to being there in those first couple of rounds, and they struggle.
Yeah, I think you look at it, the teams that advanced, a lot of them that advanced, to the Final Four last year are teams that had been out there and had gotten a taste of it before, and then were making a return trip. And, I think you're right. I think that's an important thing. You look at the Freeds, the Graces, the Langstons, all teams that made it the year in College of Idaho, with winning it, all those teams that advanced to the Final Four last year, were all teams that had been out there the previous year. So I think it's hugely important to get a taste of it. And then, you got to go out there and you got to perform, and there will be no easy games.
There's no easy possessions.
All the teams out there are going to be very, very good. So, I think you're exactly right about that.
Last season, you had Jonathan Brown. Before we move on to this year, Jonathan Brown, first team All-American, Mid-South Player of the Year. He really meant a lot to your program. He, along with J.J. Ramey, who was also graduated. Can you talk about what those guys meant to the program?
Yeah, they were huge. I felt really confident when we were able to sign Jonathan in May of 23 that he was going to have a really special season for us. And if you look at his statistics, they don't jump off the page at you. They're very good, but I think the reason he was able to receive some of the honors that he did is because he just garnered so much respect from everybody, from our team and coaching staff to our opponents' teams and coaching staffs. He just did everything the right way. He was a consummate leader, consummate teammate. He approached every day with a professional mentality of trying to be the best that he could and to help our team be the best that they could be. And just to have somebody like that in your locker room, again, it's just invaluable. Somebody that you can really rely on to make sure things are going to be done the way that you want them done, even when you're not around, is just really, really important. Jonathan meant the world to last year's team. And I think, meant the world to kind of, helping set the culture for what we're trying to be going forward. JJ, a lot of the same. JJ had been with us for, a number of years, 3 years, and had a good career up until last year. And last year, I think he just had a phenomenal year. If you look at his statistics, again, his ability to score the ball at such an efficient rate from different areas on the court was so huge for our team. In conference play, he was really dynamic, and he had a great year. Both those guys are just, they were great players, but they were top-notch individuals and guys that we miss really more as people than we do as basketball players. And something that we've talked with this group, our team this year about already, is just the importance of having guys like Jonathan, like JJ to help lead our team, to make sure that we're doing what we need to be doing all the time. And I think that's what their true legacy is going to be, is that they help get our program to where it is, and they just were the consummate leaders.
They definitely brought a lot to your program. But you've got, as you and I were talking just before we started, you've got a ton of guys coming back. Let's just talk about a few of them. You've got a bunch of seniors, but I want to ask you about Anthony Johnson first. And he's just a junior this year. He comes back 14 points, 4 rebounds. He was first team Mid-South last year. What do you look for from him in his junior season?
Yeah, Anthony, he was very dynamic for us. His ability to score the ball really at all three levels, and what he provides athletically is just something we don't see a lot. I think at our level. He's a guy, he didn't start one game last year, came off the bench for the entirety of the season. Not only did he handle that role really well, he accepted it and really thrived in it. And, as the season went and he became more comfortable within what we were trying to do and how we were trying to play, his role, grew throughout the year. And you could see that through his numbers. Once we got into tournament play, Mid-South Conference tournament play, into national tournament, he was, his scoring numbers, his minutes per game all went up. And so we're going to need him to continue that trend, continue to play at that level. He's going to have to continue to grow as a playmaker and not just a scorer. He's going to have to continue to grow as somebody that can help others score. And, he's got to mature in a lot of ways on the court to play with the proper amount of emotion in a positive way, and all things that he's made good strides with. But, I think he's primed to have a great year. So he had a good year last year. I think he can take it to another step and have a great year this year.
I think one thing that really bodes well for you, you always look at a roster, you know this. How many seniors do you have? How much experience do you have coming back? You've got 4 people with 4 guys coming back with serious experience under their belt. DJ Jones, Matt Cromer, Harry Morris, and Robertus Unitas. Talk about this group of seniors you've got coming back.
Yeah. All 4 of those guys obviously saw significant action last year. Harry, is very, very unique with his size and ability, his size and skill level, and his ability to score at different areas on the court. Something we don't always see. He had a good year, but it was only limited to half the year with what he was trying to graduate from his previous institution and became a grad student here in January last year, so only in half the season, and he was a really big asset and a really good addition for us at the break last year. We feel like he's in much better shape coming into this season, obviously, and having a preseason under his belt and the ability to be in quality shape heading into us playing games, I think is going to be really important for him and how he's going to have, what kind of year he's going to have for us. You mentioned, Rob started every game. Roberto started every game for us last year, really playing out of position, playing a lot interior, playing at the 5. He's still going to have that. He's still going to do that a lot for us, but he's also going to play some on the wing and have some opportunities to do some different things. But he had a really good year, averaged, close to 10 a game, and 5-6 rebounds. And Matt Cromer and DJ Jones both started in the backcourt last year. DJ started every game at the point and was a little bit up and down, specifically as we got down the stretch. I thought he was a little bit fatigued, but all in all had a good year, averaged double figures, led us in assists and steals. And Matthew was right at that 10-point a game mark and shot it really efficiently from the 3. So as you mentioned, all 4 of those guys have already had good careers, have already had good seasons, and understand what it takes for us to be a quality basketball team. The thing that they are all, collectively going to need to do, take their leadership up a notch. Again, we've already mentioned Jonathan and JJ, losing those guys from a leadership standpoint. Those guys that you mentioned, those seniors, they're going to have to take that role on and make sure that we're doing what we need to do all the time. And I think all those guys have the capability to do that.
Last season, you won 28 games. You got to Kansas City. You didn't really shoot the cover off the ball from 3. But man, you really clamped down on people. You held people to I think 43%, but down near 30% from 3. How did you accomplish that? What is your defensive philosophy?
Yeah, it's funny that you bring it up because we feel like, to be honest, we were not as strong defensively as we need to be a really good team. You mentioned we weren't extremely efficient team on the offensive end, but we did play with really good pace. So we scored a lot of points last year. We ended up in the top 10 in the country in points per game, in the upper 80s. And a lot of that, I think, was because we did play with a certain amount of pace and try to get up and down. I think for us to take that next step, we do need to become better defensively. As you mentioned, the numbers, the 43 and the 30, we want to get that 43 down closer to 40 if we can. And we've been a man-to-man team. We're going to continue to play a lot of man-to-man. We work on it a lot. Again, last year we had so many new guys. We had a lot to teach. We feel like we're going to be a little bit further along as far as our scheme defensively, just being a little bit more, honed in on being in the correct spots all the time. But you mentioned it as a strength. We looked at it as, an area that we've really got to improve if we want to get to the level of some of the teams that were out there and advance further. So I appreciate you thinking that we did pretty well. I think if we're going to be really good as a team, we've got to continue to score it at the rate that we have, but we're going to have to be a little bit better on the defensive end.
Coach, TJ Cave, he was freshman last year. You look at his stat line, nothing jumps out at you, really. And then, but you research the guy. He was the Defensive Player of the Year, Mid-South. He had down the stretch, he really had some key steals for you guys. He's a guy who could get a stop when you needed it. You and I were just talking about defense, and he was only a freshman. What makes TJ Cave such a special defender, as a young guy especially?
Well, you mentioned him winning Defensive Player of the Year in our league, and that caught us off guard. Obviously we were very excited for him to receive that honor. It was something that I thought he could achieve on down the road in his career, but for him to get it as a freshman, that was really unique. And I think speaks to the level of respect the coaches in our league had for, the way that he can guard the ball, specifically. He's really quick, really fast, strong, and he just knows where to be. He's tenacious. He takes really a lot of pride in being a really good defender, and he takes on challenges of guarding other teams, point guards and picking them up in the backcourt and really just making them work to get into offense. And we're excited about TJ, in general as a whole, as a player. He's a wonderful kid and great to work with. He's a guy that, he played behind DJ Jones last year, and DJ, as we mentioned, had a great year. I do feel like that TJ is going to have a great year this year and going to play even more than he did last year, as he continues to grow. as a point guard as he continues to grow as a scoring threat, but as a guy that can run your team offensively. He's just going to get better and better, and so we're excited about TJ. Obviously, thrilled at the year he had last year as a true freshman. 18, 19 years old. We think he's even going to be better going forward in his career.
You play in the Mid-South, one of the toughest conferences in the country, but it's a relatively small conference. Means you have a lot of non-conference games. Going through your schedule, boy, you're just playing everybody. You've got a tough non-conference schedule. You're playing everybody from Northwestern, Ave Maria, Dalton, Union. I think you're playing Union twice. Just talk about your non-conference schedule and what you hope to achieve.
Well, yeah, scheduling, especially over the last couple of years since we've had a little bit of change in our league, going from the 12 teams we had my first couple of years as the head coach to now all the way down to 7 the last couple. Scheduling, and specifically in the non-conference, is challenging. But we know we felt like our schedule last year was really strong, and we had a really good schedule, and we wanted to continue that, and that's why we went to the show. Last year, we're going back to the show, as you mentioned, playing Northwestern and Ave Maria. And, we're going to a classic at UT Southern, playing UT Southern and Stillman, who will be two quality opponents. You've mentioned Union, who, just got a new coach and someone we're really familiar with. And Rodney Haddix will do a great job over there. And, we just felt like we wanted to make it, as challenging as we could, just because we want to prepare for Mid-South Conference play. And you mentioned it is an extremely tough league, down to, we play 12 games. Everybody plays everybody, home and away. You play everybody twice. I think the coaching in our league is really good. The players are obviously really good. The teams are really well prepared. And so I feel like if we would have played, 16 non-conference games that were, cupcakes or walks in the park, I don't think that would have properly prepared us for Mid-South Conference play and what we're going to see when it comes to that. So we just wanted to make sure that we were playing, opponents that were going to prepare us for that. And when the schedule shaped out like it did, I felt really confident that it was what we needed.
So how far is Union from you guys?
It's about 30 minutes. Yeah. Very close.
Wow. That's
very
pretty close. Okay.
Yeah, just up the road.
So I see you're going there. What, are you playing a home and home with them?
Mm-hmm. Yep. They come to us in November, and then we turn around and go to them at the end of December after the Christmas holiday.
So just to get a feel for the geography, so how far is the show up to Kingsport?
It's going to be about 2.5, 2:45. So not a bad trip.
No, those aren't pretty good. So everywhere you go, you can get there by bus. Andy.
Yes.
So
yes.
You have a good schedule coming up. You're loaded up with guys. Yeah, well, talk about any newcomers. I'm sure you went out and you've beat the bushes like everybody else. Being a college basketball coach is like conducting an arms race.
Yeah, we did. We feel good about our class that's here now. We've got a couple of freshmen here in two Kentucky kids. Kyler McClendon is a freshman from Harlan Independent, just about an hour or so away from us, and then Jeremiah Godfrey is from Georgetown, about an hour and a half from us, and both those kids played at a high level in high school. Jeremiah's team, Great Crossing, made it all the way to the Final Four of our state tournament here in Kentucky. So we're both those guys have a chance, I think, to develop into really good players. We added a transfer in Brant Smithers from NAI West Virginia Tech. Brant made a bunch of threes last year at Tech. He's a Kentucky kid. Yeah, and again had a good couple of years at West Virginia Tech, and decided to transfer, and we're glad he's here as well. We've added, two more guys. One guy, Mbaka Legregam, is from France. He was actually with us last year. Had transferred to us mid-year. Was working to get eligible. He played his first couple of years at Presbyterian College, but we think Mbaka has a chance to be a good player and has done really well so far in the preseason. And then we've added another guy from a junior college, Anthony Harris, played at Otero Junior College out in Colorado, and Anthony's dealing with a couple of injuries here in the preseason, but we're excited about the prospects of him as well. So, yeah, as you mentioned, we returned 8 guys that saw quality minutes last year, all played above 10 minutes per game. The guys, the seniors you mentioned, Anthony Johnson, you mentioned TJ Cave, and then Brady Bell and Tanner Walton both played valuable minutes for us as well. So we had, 8 guys play 10-plus minutes a game, all returning, and then we think we've added a good nucleus of guys coming in. So I think it should be a good mix for a quality roster.
Coach, I was kind of teasing about the arms race, but I watch all the programs around the country, and everybody's bringing in quality people, but then you look at the university down the road, they've got this guy now, they got this guy. I mean, no matter how well you feel like you're recruited, there's always, you can look over your shoulder and see somebody may have recruited a little better. Number one, how do you keep your sanity in that situation? Because it never ends. It just never ends. It comes at you every year. And then how do you manage that? It's got to be a treadmill.
Yeah, it is. We try our best, and it's a lot easier said than done. So I will say that. But we try our best to just focus on, who are we recruiting, doing the best we can, trying to get them here, sell our school, sell our program. And I try not to worry too much about the things that we can't control. So I haven't, I don't do a ton of research on who other teams bring in or anything like that, especially, at this time of year or in the summer or anything. So I really try hard to focus on us and what we're trying to do, and hope that that's enough, and kind of go from there, and then prepare for the teams that we've got to play. And because I think it would be really easy to fall in the trap of checking everybody's rosters and looking at everybody's rosters and pulling them all up. And then you can't really do anything about that. So you kind of control the controllables, focus on what you've got, try to be the best team you can be. And again, hope that that's enough.
Well, you have to be like that to survive. Isn't that basically the whole philosophy of coaching, right? Is to trust yourself, trust your process.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we spent too much time worrying about everybody else, we wouldn't get enough done here. So, and I think most guys would say that they do it the same way. They do their best to try to recruit the best players they can recruit, and once they get them, they try to coach them the best they can coach them, and form the best team they can build, and you just kind of go from there. I think most guys would be in line and agree with that line of thinking.
So, Coach, you've been doing this as the head coach now for going into your fourth year. So what are some of the things that surprised you going into this? What support around you was the most critical to get through any tough times?
Again, it's cliche to say, but I think, kind of focusing on the process of getting better as a group, as a team is way more important, than being results oriented. And again, I know everybody says those kind of things, but it really isn't. You just focus on, trying to maximize each day, trying to make your team the best it can be. Again, try to recruit the best players and then go from there. There has been, I'll be the first to admit, I've made a ton of mistakes. I'll still make a ton of mistakes. But I think if you go about it and try to give it your best, for the most part, I think things are going to work out, and make every day the best you can make it. And we're very fortunate to be at a great university. I got to be at a place where I played here and got to coach here under a legendary coach in Don Butcher. And, before Coach Butcher, we had Coach Vernon. So I always try to give those guys the credit that they deserve in building this program to where where it was when I got the opportunity to take over. So, I'm at a wonderful place. I just try to every day get up and be the best that we can be. And hopefully that's enough. And we're going to keep working at it and keep striving to be our best. And I think the other thing that I've learned is, even though I did work for a great coach and Coach Butcher, I do have to be my own person. I have to try to do things that I believe in. I can't be exactly like Coach Butcher. And I think it took me a couple of years to kind of figure that out, to do some different things that I believed in. And I think that's boded well for me as well. You got to believe in yourself, and you got to do what you believe in. And I think that's been helpful as well.
Well, Coach, you're doing something right. You got a strong program there. You've got a good roster coming back, and on October 29th, you're going to play at home. How excited are you?
I'm very excited. I know we're only 3 days into practice now. Today will be day 4. I think our guys are already more excited than I am, because they're ready to play other people other than themselves. So
yeah, absolutely.
It'll be here before we know it. But again, we'll just try to take it a day at a time, try to be the best we can today, and hopefully that leads to a quality team throughout the season.
Well, Coach, I really appreciate you giving us a few minutes. I know it's a really busy time for you, but I really appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, Billy. All the best, and again, appreciate all you do for small college hoops, man.
That's Matt Daniel. He's the head men's basketball coach at the University of the Cumberlands. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Also, please like and subscribe this show wherever you watch or listen to it. It helps a lot. And if you have a question you'd like answered on the show, just send me a note at cascadehoopstalk@gmail.com, or just shoot me a DM on Twitter. I hope you enjoyed the show. Enjoy your day. We'll see you next time. Yours truly, Billy D.
Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAI school because NAI basketball is the best entertainment value in America.